What is up, y'all? It's your girl Kayla, and we are back with another video. Y'all already know, if you are new here, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome. I appreciate every single one of y'all who tune into my videos each and every week. Thank you guys so much. And thank you all for the recommendations that you guys made regarding like different herbs and medications and things that I can try to help make my IUIs more successful, or home insemination, whichever you prefer. I do want to correct that because I am doing this myself and without the assistance of like a second person, really. I should have been calling these ICIs, or intercervical inseminations, instead of intrauterine IUIs, because IUIs require a catheter. So that is the slight distinction. They both have a syringe, but for an IUI specifically, there is a catheter that's used. And so you can't necessarily insert a catheter into yourself for a home insemination, or you shouldn't try to. It's a lot easier to just use a syringe like it's a tampon and inseminate that way. So I do want to clarify that, and I do apologize for the confusion. The second thing, y'all know I was out sick last week, or I guess most of y'all, if you don't know me personally, you wouldn't know, but I have had a horrible cold, and I'm still getting through like a little bit of coughing and sneezing. But I sounded atrocious last week, even though I didn't have a fever come Sunday. Um, it was just, YouTube, you're doing a lot of listening, and I didn't want to put anybody through that, so that's why there's no video last week. But thankfully, it did allow some time to for a lot of stuff to happen. So just kind of a quick rundown. I don't know if I said so already, but thank you all so much for your recommendations and your suggestions, and just your kind words with my second cycle. So surprise, surprise, when I uploaded that video, I had already done my third IUI. So I inseminated, I want to say July 7th or July 8th. Yeah, so that was my third IUI, and I will say things are going great. I started taking the pre-mama, which a lot later than I probably should have, but I took pre-mama and I did not have a lot of symptoms. Like, it was super great symptom-wise. I think it was the most calm pregnancy that I'd had thus far. I didn't have to deal with a lot of morning sickness, just occasional nausea. I did have cravings, but nothing insane. I was just really living off of Gatorade and water. I had to have my Gatorade. I had to have my water. It had to be a specific flavor of Gatorade and a specific kind of water. But other than that, no candy cravings or chip cravings or taco cravings like last time. I was sleepy. I was so tired. I will say pregnancy naps be the best naps. But I could not stay awake. So I was spending my lunch breaks driving off to like some parking lot where nobody knew me, just so I could take a nap in peace without people knowing me, judging me. Thankfully, no heartburn this time around. I typically get heartburn like cycle day, or not cycle day, 5 DPO, and no heartburn, just a lot of things that I just did not deal with. So it was a lot calmer, but there are also a lot of changes that did happen that were very obvious signs of pregnancy, from, the change in color here, and cervical mucus that appeared, just all these other things that happened that were clear indicators. And I was able to make it to almost 6 weeks, and I miscarried again. And this time it was a lot gentler, I will say. My body is still being a little weird. And yeah, so it was a lot like the first time around where, okay, I missed my period by over a week and I was still getting negative pregnancy tests. But I still had all the symptoms, my body that, it had changed. I still had all the symptoms. And I was concerned. So, about, I was about, let's see, 8 days late, I think. And I was still getting a negative test, so I reached out to my OBGYN, which I was hesitant to do because, the first time around, I really felt abandoned. I don't think I really talked on this a lot, but I hadn't heard back from my OBGYN or even my midwife, really, which my midwife, I don't really blame her by any means, because seeing it from her perspective, because she doesn't really know me like that, she probably thought that I just kind of used her for a signature for sperm, when really I was just feeling so alone and emotional that I just wanted to do the IUI by myself and just make it into like a really special thing, which each time I have. So I understand why she wouldn't respond back. But with my doctor's office, it was very much it seemed like they didn't believe me until finally they ran tests and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you actually were pregnant." And there's no heartbeat. So there was that. So it was very interesting. This time around, I thought maybe I could do a fourth cycle, and then that's when I would finally reach out to my doctor. But something just told me, reach out now. So I reached out, and we went back and forth for a couple of days. The triage nurses got a lot of information from me. They went over my miscarriage, my chemical pregnancy, and now this one. And, my doctor was able to get back to me. She's like, "I'm sorry. Like, unfortunately, at this point, there's nothing that I can do. Like, there's nothing they could do to really save the pregnancy." But she said, "Let's have a consultation, to figure out things moving forward." So this past Wednesday, we had a consultation. And, she confirmed everything with this pregnancy, that I was miscarrying, just over the phone. It was like a clinical one, not a, I can't remember what the other one is when, they actually like go in and check. But from my symptoms and the bleeding, she's like, yeah, it's most likely, another miscarriage. So she wanted to know basically what happened with the referral that she gave me for the reproductive endocrinologist a year ago. Most of y'all are new, so you probably don't know, but I had gone to a reproductive endocrinologist who was absolutely amazing. I cannot say enough great things about her, but it was the two nurses that were assigned to me back to back that were the reason why I ultimately decided to leave and not pursue services there. Just from the jump, the nurses were very unprofessional, untimely, and let me know straight up they didn't like their jobs, which was unprofessional in itself, but still. And so I went over the account of everything that happened, and I get the secondhand embarrassment that she felt because she's just like, this is my colleague. I refer people to them, and this is what the nurses here are doing. That sucks, And I explained to her, ultimately with the behavior of the nurses, yeah, the doctor, she can do everything she possibly can. But if the nurses don't like their jobs there and they don't want to do their jobs in a timely manner, I don't feel comfortable spending $1,200 for the actual cycle, plus any other medications that I'm going to need, which was going to be anywhere between 300 to 500 out of pocket, on top of sperm that's already $1,000. Like, I did not feel comfortable making that kind of investment with people. I'm sorry, I keep bumping the mic. Investment with people that I couldn't guarantee they were going to be timely, and they definitely didn't want to be there, you know? Especially with something that's so time sensitive as, you know, tracking your ovulation and, you know, having an insemination. It's not like I have a male partner and I can just get it on whenever I'm in my fertile window, you know? So I need people who are going to be detail oriented and, you know, be great with time management. And so she apologized for it. We had our consultation, and she let me know there are some things that she's concerned about. So I have lab tests that she's going to have me do. They'll be checking my thyroid, my progesterone levels. What else? They're also going to be checking for any chromosomal abnormalities that I may be having, as well as, I can't remember the exact condition it's called, but there's a blood clotting condition that she's also checking for, also celiac disease that she's checking for, and a couple other tests that they're going to do just, you know, to complete everything. So they're really going to be checking into these things to see what, if there's any issues. So if any of those tests come back showing that I do have one of these issues, then she's going to refer me to a different reproductive endocrinologist, and I will be seeking treatment there. So she didn't say whether or not that would be IUI or IVF, but from what it sounds like, it would be looking more into IVF, especially if it's like a chromosomal issue, you know, or the blood clotting issue. Those two she was really more concerned about, and I really want to do some more research on it, just to be sure, and just so I can present that information to you all as well. So there's that. But if everything comes back clean, then our next really mode of action is going to be to prescribe me progesterone. So I'll call her when I do my next cycle, and she'll go ahead and put the order in for the progesterone. They would be suppositories, and you take them 2 days after you inseminate, and you continue to take them daily until you're up to 12 weeks pregnant. And you just kind of go from there. So I'm really hoping and praying that it's something as simple as just needing some progesterone. She did say that it's a theory that doctors have, and it seems to work. If there's no other underlying issue, it does seem to work and help, you know, lower the chances of miscarrying when you have recurrent miscarriages like I have. So that was, you know, hopeful news. I know it worked for her, and it worked for somebody else that I know. So I'm hoping that that's just the route that I'll end up going. It would be a lot simpler and a lot easier to deal with. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I will say I have been very emotional since that session with her. And that was on Wednesday. Things are a lot better now, but I did get into my feelings a lot, and I know the people closest to me really kind of felt that, and I find myself really distancing myself, and I just have like a lot of things that I have to work through emotionally. But I don't know, I just kept thinking to myself, you know, when I was a little kid, I never imagined I would be here. I'm sorry, I have one pesky fly that really wants to kick my butt. But I never imagined once that I would be here. You know, I never thought that it would take that much science just for me to, you know, be able to have a family. But that's where I'm at right now. And as hard as it is, I'm glad I'm at least able to share it with you all, and that we do have this community where we're finding that we're not alone. And there's this support system, and there's other people who understand what we're feeling, what we're going through, and just all the different emotions that come with it. So I just want to say I'm so grateful for each and every one of you all. I know I say this every week, but it's true. I am so grateful for each and every one of you guys. So thank you so much for tuning into my videos. I will let you guys know when I do get my results back. I'm hoping that I'll get my blood work done this week, because I know the two tests that she is most concerned with, the ones checking for my blood clotting and checking my chromosomes, those ones will take the longest to get back. So, we're just kind of, wait and see. But I really do want to hurry up and get these lab tests done so we can know where we're going from here. And I will let you guys know as soon as those tests get back and basically what the plan of action is. I'll also break down each of the tests and what they mean and how they affect you. I'll go ahead and do that research as well. If you guys have any questions or recommendations, please don't forget to put them in the comment box down below. And if you have not already done so already, I really don't know what's stopping you. I don't know. But make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And I will see you all next Sunday.